Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
Well, it all kicks off this time tomorrow night. Who'll come runner-up in the Championship? Who's going to be third and fourth? We'll find out tomorrow evening. As Livy, are they going to say farewell officially to the Premiership? They play Aberdeen tomorrow night. Then Saturday the games, Dundee St Mirren at the other end of the table, Falkirk Motherwell and Kilmarnock against Dundee United. And then Sunday, high noon, Hibs against second top Celtic. And then on Monday night, the bank holiday Monday, May Day, the Kevin Kyle derby. It's Hearts against Rangers. Kevin is with us along with Darren O'D. So we want loads of your calls tonight. Let's see what is going to happen. 0808 17 17 700. Kevin, your derby, you're going to be there, I would imagine. So you'll have to get a neutral seat for this one. Hearts, your old team, against Rangers, another of your old team. Hearts in the box seat. Are they going to do it now?
They're in the box seat. Are they going to do it? That's the question we probably keep asking it every single week. Nobody really has the answer because every week it changes.
Yeah.
The
You've
results.
got a unique insight having played with both clubs.
Aye, well, you think you have, but I don't think I was ever involved in a title race quite like this.
Is that why? Because you were there?
That's probably why, because Rangers were in the lower leagues and Hearts.
No.
But saying that, in my year in Hearts 2010, 11, we were sitting, like, I think we had more points than the Hearts team this year at the same point in January 15 years ago. But I got injured and that's how we tailed off. That's what I keep telling everybody. But anyway, no, what I think is, I think in terms of the box seat, what I think on Monday is if that Hearts can beat Rangers at home, I think that then puts Rangers' title hopes to bed and it puts Hearts firmly in the driving seat because they then have 3 games and I think out of those 3, 2 wins would see them win the title. And that's capable. One of their biggest games they've got in the 5 was their main rivals, Hibs, who obviously lost 2 men to the red cards on Sunday. That helped, but Hearts still had to get the job done, and they did in the 86 minutes. So they keep grinding away, they keep sitting top of the table, and everybody, I think, is trying to write them off, but the reality is you have to keep believing that they may just get over the line.
Darren, since we last saw you, 2 weeks ago, few twists and turns, but for Celtic, great win at the weekend as well. Obviously Rangers failing, Hearts winning. What's your feeling then going into the last few games of the season for your old team?
I think Celtic just need to keep the last game of the season alive.
Aye. Yeah.
I think obviously Hearts have a superior goal difference of 5 goals. If they could claw back at least 3 and have a maximum of maybe a 2-goal deficit, I think if there's 3 points in it and 2 goals in it, I think Celtic would take it. And I certainly know Celtic would have taken it kind of going back to January. So I think from Celtic's point of view is just, can you just stay in it and take Hearts to the last game of the season? I think they'd 100% bite your hand off.
And do you think they can? Signs that they're improving again, Maeda back on it?
Yeah, I think the signs, Maeda definitely massive improvement. Arne Engels makes a massive difference to them out of possession, gives them a kind of more running power, and they were much better out of possession, I thought. Alistair Johnson came back onto the pitch. He's going to be a big player hopefully for the rest of the season. I don't think they're hitting massive form or anything like that. The massive difference, and I said it at the weekend, was the crowd at Celtic Park was back to the way it has been for the last kind of 3-4 years. There's obviously been well documented problems there, but that could be the difference in having Hearts at home in the last game of the season. If Celtic are in touching distance, I fancy them, but the multi-million-dollar question is, are they going to be there? Of course.
Kevin, it's a few days ago now, but I don't think many people thought Rangers were going to lose to Motherwell. But everyone's now saying again, oh my goodness, Motherwell, what a team. Probably the best to watch. What did you see with Rangers though? Some of the Rangers fans are saying, why is he changing it? Why is he not starting with what most feel is the strongest 11?
When you're in the business at the end of the season, I always look at there's times when you can rest players because it's comfortable to rest players in terms of you don't need a result, so you can say, right, we can rest Mikey Moore today. Yeah. But we're in a position, every team that's in this situation, Hearts, Celtic, Rangers, they don't have that luxury of being able to rest players. You need to have your best 11 on from the start. And it was pretty evident for me that a Mikey Moore starting, if you're on the bench and you're able to come on at half time and play 45 minutes, that indicates you're able to play way more than that. He's fit to play, he's fit to come on. If say, for example, Diamandi got injured or Raskin got injured 20 minutes into the game, did they bring on Mikey Moore then? So for the reality is, Danny Rose made an error there, because if you start Mikey Moore and you get 60, 65 minutes out of him, a 60, 65 minutes is far better from the beginning than Mikey Moore coming at half-time 2-0 down, chasing the game.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult.
You could put the point that I genuinely don't know, but has Mikey Moore been potentially only down to play 20 minutes or 30 minutes, but because of half-time it was needs must, he slung him on. But I still think at this stage in the season, this is when you take risks. This is when you maybe say, Mikey, I need you to play.
In that same instance, Darren, you look at Celtic and Callum McGregor not so long ago, come off with an ankle injury, missed the Old Firm game at Ibrox, and then he was quickly rushed back. The back end of last season, he was playing with an Achilles problem. So Celtic's probably doing the same with Callum McGregor, but they totally see the benefit in, if we can get X amount out of Callum McGregor and we're winning like they were on Saturday and we can bring him off for 20 minutes, then that's what we'll do. Whereas Rangers have chose that other option, the what if. Surely the what if is the positive, not the negative, in terms of get him on from the start, see how we go. But listen, talking about Rangers, people said we didn't think that Motherwell could go there and get points. I absolutely firmly believed that Motherwell could go there and get points, because although they have had a dip in form, that quality that they've possessed across this season just doesn't go away over 2 or 3 games. They've had a break, they've regrouped, they've came back, and they put on a masterclass in the first half on Saturday. They were absolutely outstanding. I thought the boy Slattery was just involved in everything. And how quick they go from back to front under pressure, Rangers couldn't live with it. They made defenders defend, which is hugely important in any game of football. And listen, people can talk about Danny Role, no starting Mikey Moore from the beginning, etc., and getting the team wrong. But the reality is, what Danny Role can't account for, Chamiti misses a really big opportunity later in the game. That's on Chamiti, that's not on Danny Role. So there's instances in the game.
At what point that could have been for Rangers?
Listen, I don't think Rangers are out of it, because if Rangers go and beat Hearts at Tynecastle, then they're right back in it. They're then back to a point. Celtic win their game in hand, it's a point between the 3 of them again. And then here we'll be in next week having a totally different scenario of how things are going to turn out. So it's just made it that little bit more difficult for Rangers.
I see a few of the Rangers legends are urging the club to believe. That was the poster last weekend, the tifo, wasn't it, with Marvin Andrews there. Believe. I see the legendary manager as he was, Alec McLeish, who had the Helicopter Sunday, saying you can still do it. I see our own Barry Ferguson. He's also been speaking overnight about the fact that Celtic have said, look, no Union Bears at Celtic Park for the game in a couple of weeks' time. I'm not sure how they're going to police that, but that's been decided, I think, by the SPFL committee today. But Barry saying, I'd be absolutely raging if there are no Rangers fans at Celtic Park. What's your view on it, Darren? Would you fear it in any way if there's opposition? Because it surely adds, it's not about fear, is it?
Well, look, I don't know the logistics of it. I don't know the ins and outs of it. Obviously, know what happened in the previous game between them. Like, I've been to a lot of games at Celtic Park between Celtic and Rangers, and I know the allocation has not been at the highest level as years ago. They don't get near each other, the players. Now, I know we've just seen in the last game it emptied onto the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, at Celtic Park, that can be policed, no problem. Yeah. You're in the corner. It's kind of nearly like a V that you go up, so you could literally, you can police it for me. It's easy for me to maybe side with Celtic and say, they have to do it. If this was the other way around, I'd be the same. I'd be saying, no, you have to let Celtic supporters in and at the game. Do I think there has to be a huge, whether it's police presence or security presence? Absolutely. But I actually always think they do a really good job of that. They can't, they meet, I don't know where it is, they meet a mile from the stadium and they're carted down. There's very, very little trouble around the stadiums these days, which is credit to the security of it. I think they need to take the ownership. It's a football match. This isn't going to be a one-off either. This is going to happen next year and the year after. There has to be a precedent set, and I don't think banning supporters fully can ever be the answer.
It's not healthy, is it?
It's not. No, because Rangers allowed Celtic to come into Parkhead. Rangers allowed Celtic fans to come into Ibrox over the space of a couple of weeks. And there was problems, there was issues. But you can't then just decide, wait a minute, we're not having them in there. We don't want the Union. They specifically said they didn't want the Union Bears in. So whether you agree with that or disagree with that, I think that's basically, for me, whether they're called the Union Bears, Rangers fans, the word there's there, they're fans. Doesn't matter what they are, Union Bears or they're fans of their football club. And they should be entitled to go and watch their team if they have tickets that are allocated to them. It shouldn't matter what you're part of. They're there to support their team in a title race. And Celtic, for me, I don't know what the thinking behind it is. I can kind of grasp a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, no, you can't have your cake and eat it all the time, because like Rangers didn't do that to you.
But there should be no masks. But I don't know how
listen,
they can police that.
So that's the point.
that's-
Like there needs to. That's what we're talking about, is having supporters in grounds, which everyone wants to see.
Sure.
The other topic is the behaviour of supporters. That's a different topic, and that's clearly where Celtic have reservations, if you want to call it that. I just don't think the overall consensus can be just ban them. What do they do next year? What do they do for the rest of the time? It can't be a precedent set forward. But supporters need to behave themselves. I agree totally. You can't be wearing masks and covering your face and all, because clearly you're wanting to cause an issue if that's the case.
This should be a great game, isn't it?
It should be. We should be talking about the football that's going to happen on show. Not about the fans. The two of them going for a title. Because obviously that's 2 weeks away. A week on Saturday. And if Rangers were to beat Hearts and Celtic were to beat Hibs, then next Saturday when we go to this weekend of the 9th of Sunday 10th of May, we have Rangers sitting on a point behind Hearts, and Celtic and Hearts both on the same points.
That's it. Yep.
Motherwell playing Hearts, Celtic playing Rangers. That weekend something has to give.
It's box office.
It's absolutely box office. Here we are tonight talking about whether fans are going to get into a stadium.
What do you think? 0808 17 17 700. Billy's been on, a Rangers fan, saying, Kevin, I agree with you there, what you were saying. We should have been better at the weekend, the way he set it up. And he wonders why Mikey Moore wasn't on now. Maybe there was something, but he agrees with your logic. Well, if he could come on and play the second half, why did he not come on from the beginning? The manager spoke afterwards of what he felt went wrong.
Yeah, we were not consequent in the front foot defending. That was the reason why they had then in some moments the overload in the center. Yeah, we were a little bit too slow in the last line to push up and to mark them, to be more aggressive. That was difficult. Then, and this is also part of the story, they were really effective. When I count the big chances from them and from us, then I don't know how many big chances they had. I think even in the first half.
Well, you look at the scoreline though, don't you? But he said afterwards, he was asked, why do you believe, which was the kind of motto of the day of the Rangers fans?
That I saw players with courage, mentality, intensity and quality. All this what we need in a title race to come back against this side. Showed at first we can score a lot of goals, and these are things what you need in the title race. And my group never give up since I'm here. We got some small setbacks and we come again with a reaction. And this is my experience with this group, and we will do this next week again.
So 36-year-old Danny Rule, what are you thinking there, Kevin?
Hey, I'm thinking, listening to that interview, listening to how he's describing the game, and what I'm thinking is that Motherwell have played that way for the entirety of this season. Overloaded the midfield, pressed well, moved the ball really quickly. The desire between Slattery and Watt just to move 2-3 yards away from men and play round people, it's a joy to watch. So if he's describing that, why did he not set up to combat that? Why did he allow Motherwell to overrun them in the midfield? Yep. Then he talks about we eventually got the press right in the second half, and which it led to Rangers getting 2 goals, and in that time they were on top. You can't be no doing your due diligence right. Yeah. When you've got we've got 4 games left this season. Yep. You've got to have it spot on, and you have to have your team ready. You're at home. Yeah. If Rangers were away from home,
of course,
they would have won that game.
Yep.
But because they were at home, they've went at half time with boos. They've came out with nothing to lose. They've managed to get 2 goals, but they just couldn't get that third one. And when you're watching the game, you could see how open Rangers became because they're pressing for that winner. Yeah. And you thought, if Motherwell can just get one more breakaway, there's a real opportunity. And obviously they got that opportunity, and they took the goal well.
Darren?
Yeah, it's going to sound disrespectful and arrogant, and it's not. But when you play for Celtic and Rangers, I certainly wasn't a level where I could think of this, but my teammates were in the club where you didn't think of the opposition when you were playing at home. Yeah. You gave them about 10%, 15%. You knew what they were, where their strengths were, but everything in your head was, how are we going to win? How are they going to worry about us? And I just think the mentality of even that he's talking about how they were out of possession. And listen, that's a massive part of the game. But you're playing at Ibrox at home, and you're worried about Motherwell.
Yeah.
And Motherwell are outstanding, by the way,
Yeah.
and it was a masterclass. But I just think it just probably shows you how far it's fallen, and probably how far Motherwell has risen. But to me, that's mental that you're going into a game at Ibrox as Rangers, and you're actually thinking that much about the opposition.
That's a mindset thing, and that's massive. Could you imagine Walter Smith worrying about Motherwell coming to Ibrox?
No chance.
Absolutely not.
Mindset.
And listen, we're not taking any credit away here from Motherwell, who have been outstanding, but that should all have been about Rangers. Rangers setting out their trap early doors, and Motherwell going, woof, what do we do? But they didn't. They allowed Motherwell, and he's talking about big chances in the game. It doesn't matter how many big chances or small chances in the game. Who puts the ball in the net more than the other? And Motherwell did that better than Rangers.
That reminded me a wee bit of the Philippe Clement chat. Remember, he would say, "No, this happened and that could have happened, might have happened." I mean, Danny Role has played a great hand since he came in. Had a bit of a wobble when he took on Martin O'Neill earlier when Martin came back. Remember about the goalkeeper and all that. And he made a mistake. He's 36. He's learning. Has he got the killer instinct to win the title? Because over at Celtic just earlier, they had a win at home. And Martin O'Neill was asked, is this momentum now in your team?
I think that we've got a tough task next week. So, honestly, we can only treat each game as on its merit, really, and that's all it is. I think that we've battled. We've been battling strongly. I think we showed some fine play today. Made some mistakes in the game, which could have been costly. I thought there was a little period for 10 or 15 minutes, maybe less, where I thought it looked from where I am. Remember, I'm negative, so it looked as if we were losing a bit of control. I thought that Falkirk played through us a few times, but I thought we got a grip of that. I think the introduction of I know it was only for the last 15 minutes, but I thought that Alex brought a calmness to us at the end of it, just settle us down again. And take it on from there. I'm talking about Oxlade-Chamberlain, you know. So, but in terms of your point about the momentum, I don't know. We're still a long way from home.
Darren O'Dea, what do you take from what Martin O'Neill was saying?
Not a lot, because he doesn't give a lot away. He's just very good at kind of not being overly hyped up and overly critical, and just moves on to the next game. Celtic were okay at the weekend in terms of performance, but I said it at the weekend. It is now about results. I think when you talk about performance early in the season, it's because it's maybe an indicator of what's going to come later. The reality is they're 4 games away. They won the game. They deserve to win the game, albeit Falkirk were pretty good and had their chances. They've been a strange side all year, and Martin has been a master to kind of manage it, if you like, because certainly the level of performance they've had has not been at a really, really high level.
Danny's asking, why did he mention Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain? Was there a reason for that?
Probably, yeah, because he knows Callum McGregor can't stay. Whatever's going on with him, he can't last 90 minutes just a minute. He's obviously putting his body on the line for the team, so he needs him. And I thought against St Mirren, when they made the subs, which they would have had to with Callum and Arne Engels coming off, they lost the game completely in midfield, and Oxlade-Chamberlain was part of that. So it's probably a little bit of a confidence boost to him. And I do agree with him. He did bring a calmness to the game and a control to the game that wasn't there at that time.
He spoke about the return of Alistair Johnson.
I thought that was, amazing. So obviously he's very, very popular here, and there's reasons for that, because he must have done fantastically well. So that was very encouraging. I thought he did fine when he came on. And I know this week's training will bring him on again. So that's and he's itching to go.
Kevin, he doesn't go over the top, does he? He was fine. He's fine.
Yeah, listen, Martin. There is absolutely no emotion in, is there?
Yeah.
But the welcome return of Arne Engels last week, and then Alistair Johnson this week, that can only help Celtic in this title race. Yeah. Because I think with Alistair Johnson, the way he conducts himself in the park, he's always been that guy that if Callum went off, he would become the captain on the park. So there's clearly leadership skills there. I think he talks very well. I think he plays with his heart on the line, which is amazing. So it can only be a boost towards Celtic in the running. And like Darren said with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, that is a confidence booster. We're going to need him. And he has to make Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain feel good about his performances and stuff, so that he gets the maximum out of him, because Celtic's going to need every single inch of every person in that squad that's available. Hatate, I don't know what's happening there, because he seems to be a wee bit out of favour.
On the bench, isn't he? So I don't know. We don't know for sure. But
I just was curious. I've never really talked much about it, but I was curious to find out what is he done well in the Rangers games, and yet he's now...
He did. He had a bit of bite, didn't he? Yeah. So, okay, quick break and then we're back. 0808 17 17 700.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
You know the story. Top of the table, Hearts. They've led since end of September, isn't it? It's phenomenal. Apart from maybe a few hours, with TV at the weekend. You were on last weekend?
Yes.
Darren, you were? We saw you on the telly? Yeah. What about you, Kevin?
No, I was playing golf.
Excellent. You in good form? Yeah.
No, not yet. No, I'll hit form at the end of this month. No, the end of May. That's what I'm hoping for. That's terrible now.
Is it? Yeah.
Aye. I'm just not getting enough golf time. My wife thinks I'm golfing too much, but I'm not.
Fantastic weather now, isn't it? Do you play a bit, Darren? I think I asked you before.
I'm not, just, I don't want to kill the mood, but popped my shoulder out recently, so I won't be golfing anytime soon.
Glad I asked that one. Hearts on 73 points, Celtic on 70, Rangers on 69, then Motherwell on 57. Let's go on the lines. Laurie is first up. Good evening, Laurie.
Hey, Paul, good evening, panel.
Hi, Laurie.
Paul, I felt compelled to phone tonight.
Yep.
I've been watching some social media posts over the last week or two, and there are a number of people, many of them Celtic supporters, I may add, who think that because the Blessed Martin is 74 years of age, therefore he should be precluded from consideration as Celtic manager beyond the end of this term. I'd like to add some context, if I can, Paul. The Blessed Martin is joined by his one-time nemesis, the no less illustrious Dick Advocaat, who will be in charge of Curaçao at the forthcoming World Cup finals. Dick is 78 years of age. In addition to that, the leaders of the two most powerful countries in the world, namely Vladimir Putin, who's the same age as the Blessed Martin, and Donald Trump, who is 5 years his senior. I don't think that because you're 74, and those guys are in charge of the two most powerful countries in the world, as I've said, I would suggest for any sceptics or doubters that managing a football team perhaps is any more daunting a task than those two guys in regard to their responsibilities. The panel's thoughts.
Yeah, mind you mentioning Putin.
Yeah,
and
I
Trump,
didn't think we'd be sitting on air comparing Martin O'Neill with Putin, but I take your point.
But you could say that 20 years ago when they were much younger. But listen, it's a really good point.
Yeah,
Darren, what do you feel? Because people do say about his age, but his appetite for it looks to be as he was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I do agree with Laurie that there does seem to be a kind of an element of if this was any other manager and he was potentially about to win a league or cup double, you'd be saying he's nailed on to be the manager next season.
Sure.
I just think it's I don't know if I don't really know the answer to it. I think there's probably a bit of respect in that it's actually what does Martin want to do. He's obviously been out of not out of football but out of management for a period of time. So I don't think I don't think anyone would have necessarily a gripe with it or anything. I just think there's an assumption that Martin came in to do the job till the end of the season and potentially move on. But I would like to think that Martin will be a huge part of the conversation, whatever it looks like. And whether that means being manager, that means being part of the club, or that means he moves on and does his own thing, I think Martin will be at the forefront of that conversation. Society's
a bit ageist though, isn't it? People do say, he's over 70, therefore... ... Well,
I'll tell you now, Martin O'Neill's moving better than me anyway, so
his shoulder's okay. And the people round him, Sean Maloney and the others. Kevin, have you got a view on the age factor?
What is it they always say? Like, age is just a number. It's how you feel. I'm 45 and I feel about 65. But listen, I think that my honest take on it is that Martin O'Neill was brought in to help Celtic out in a period where they needed a bit of help, and he steadied the ship. They then appointed a manager who then basically nearly single railroaded Celtic into losing potential title. Martin's now got them back in a title race. So what is it that Celtic fans are after? Do they want somebody playing free-flowing super football that they go, oh, wow, that's amazing, but we finished second in the league with that amazing football? Or do they want somebody that's a natural-born winner that knows how to get the job done? And if Martin O'Neill ends up winning the title this year for Celtic, will that go down as one of the greatest titles ever won in terms of of how this season has panned out? The fact that he still has that Celtic team in a title race is credit. So you have to give him an opportunity, have the conversation at least. If the Celtic board choose not to even have that conversation as in a manager, then the Celtic board will be under some scrutiny, as they already are.
Laurie, Kevin may feel better when he's 65. He said, I feel 65. Nothing wrong with 65. Laurie, are you surprised there's a kind of silence at the club just now about what's happening?
No, not really.
Okay.
Paul, to be quite honest with you, nothing this board does surprises me. I think that Martin has been brought in this season on 2 occasions as a firefighter, like the late Vedder. The first time he doused the flames, he got us back in contention. Inexplicably, was then removed from position and replaced by Wilfred Nancy. The rest, of course, is history. So nothing surprises me. I just hope that, I think, I'm very optimistic. As you know, I've never wavered in my belief that Martin will guide us across the league final stages. I think we'll win. There's no substitute for experience. I have to acknowledge the great job that Danny Roll has done at Ibrox Stadium. I cannot believe the number of people who have condemned Danny Roll. Danny Roll took over Rangers when they were some 13 points behind Heart of Midlothian.
That's right.
After Russell Martin's debacle. Martin also has restored their fortunes. So you know what? There's an awful lot of people out there who should give a bit of consideration to what these guys have done, namely Danny and Martin O'Neill. I think that Danny McInnes has been very fortunate. I cannot. It would be disrespectful of me to slight or cast any aspersions about what he's achieved. He's done a marvellous job. But certainly he has been hugely favoured by the internal goings-on at Ibrox and Celtic Park, respectively, Paul, in my estimation.
Would you, Laurie, have Martin O'Neill as manager if Celtic don't win the league?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
For sure, Dan. I'll tell you why. Because he's been dealt a difficult hand. If he starts afresh next season, then Celtic, I am convinced, will win the league. But I'm still convinced we'll win the league. Admittedly, we do need snookers in our favour because a lot of people have said if Celtic win the next 4 games, they will win the league. Not necessarily so.
Goal difference.
Hearts are 3 points ahead of Celtic and have got a much more favourable goal advantage. So we do need favours. There's no question about that, and it would be daft of me to think otherwise. I think if Rangers lose on the weekend against Hearts, obviously they are out of the picture completely.
If they hit goals the way they did, though, in extra time at Hampden 12 days ago, Darren, then the goal difference can narrow. Can Celtic? Listening to what Laurie says, he's got great faith in Martin O'Neill, and only an idiot would dismiss Martin O'Neill. Could they start? Well, they could. Do you think they will start to score maybe a couple of goals, maybe 3 against Hibs instead of being, it's tough. Everyone now says, it's tough going to Easter Road and all the rest of it. But you just said 10 minutes ago, if you're a Celtic player or a Rangers player, you should go in with confidence.
I'll take that kind of debate away and say if Celtic win their 4 games, I would be absolutely amazed if they don't win the league.
Yeah, right.
So,
okay, sure.
But I take the point. If they get 2 up in a game, they need to go and go for it again and again and again. But I think if they win their 4 games, they'll win the league.
I would agree with Dan.
Yep.
Hearts are not going away.
Nope.
And that's the reality. They played Motherwell before the split and were 1-0 down and potentially could have been 4-1 down. But they hung on in there and eventually won the game 3-1. They were then 1-0 down to their greatest rivals at the weekend, hung on in there and managed to win the game 2-1. So they keep going. So that's not going to stop. That attitude and that desire, like Dale talked about in Saturday's interview afterwards, the desire that his team are turning up every week and it's not a fluke that they're scoring in the 86th minute and the 89th minute and the 88th minute. They keep going and they keep going.
Yeah.
So why would we think here as panellists sitting discussing, why would we think that's going to stop for Hearts?
Yeah.
They are needing a favour, Celtic, in terms of maybe Rangers taking points or Motherwell taking points off them, or Falkirk. But I still believe if Celtic were to win 4 games, that would be that would put them well on track to win this title.
And Laurie, you mentioned Danny Rule. You've praised him again. It's going to be fascinating. If Rangers win next Monday, or even a draw, and then it comes to the Celtic game, you've got Danny Rule against Martin O'Neill. And so far, I mean, Rangers' record against Celtic has been good, but in those vital games recently, it's been Martin O'Neill who's come out on top. So, Laurie, that is going to be fascinating a week on Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
Absolutely, Paul. Thus far, Martin has got Danny's number. He's eliminated him from 2 cup competitions. We lost Kieran Tierney and Callum McGregor getting into the last league game at Ibrox. I think most pundits would have felt that was a home win, a prediction for Rangers. And we snatched a draw in very unlikely circumstances. So I'm confident we'll be Rangers. But, as I say, we've just got to take it game by game. I'm just feel so disillusioned that the Celtic board decided to appoint Wilfred Nancy.
Yeah.
Paul, I'll just finish by saying this. If Celtic do not win the league, there will be massive recriminations and repercussions against the appointment of Wilfred Nancy.
Yep. You couldn't argue with that, could you?
I think it's already happened.
It was madness. Well,
No. Listen, in hindsight, clearly it was. There's no debate to have, but I do sympathise that they went down a route, and I think the length of time it took to appoint Wilfred Nancy took longer, and in the meantime, Martin won. Now, then they had a decision, and ultimately, at the top level of any business, your decision making counts, whether you're a success or not. They probably got, they got it wrong in terms of changing, but it would have been going all the way down the line, Wilfred Nancy, and then going, no, actually, we've got a manager already in place, the interim.
Sure.
I do sympathise. I do genuinely sympathise. I'll probably be on my own with that, but I do sympathise with them. But clearly, it was the wrong decision.
Yeah. But the management themselves, the owners, they need to have the killer instinct. Sorry, Wilfred, settle in Glasgow. His family were coming over, but Martin O'Neill, he's got the league leaders coming in a couple of days. And then
but the point would have been, what if he won that?
Yeah. Well,
it wouldn't have ever been a good decision. It wouldn't have ever been a good time. Sorry, because Martin would kept winning. Now, a Celtic fan, Laurie will turn around and go, "Well, then don't change." I totally accept that. I totally accept that. But that was the decision, and so I do have a bit of sympathy with that.
I understand. You pay Wilfred up and say, "Sorry, Wilfred, the circumstances have changed." Laurie, thanks so much for your call. 0808 1717 700. Let's hear from a Rangers fan. What are you thinking then ahead of these games? Because Danny Rule said the game with Hearts, wow, it is a must-win.
If you want, next week we have a final. Yeah, there's no question mark. But still, after this game, 3 more games to go, and when the final whistle is over, then we know where we are. And not before. Yeah, today it feels like a big blow, and I take it. But my responsibility is now to lead, to lift, not just my group, my staff, and also us as a club.
It was tough for Rangers. It was a tough day for Hearts as well, but they came out on top in the derby.
Such an unusual way to win a game. You don't ordinarily practice that. Playing against 2 men light. Disappointed with the first goal because our set-up wasn't quite right, and we just switch off at the back post, and they get the start that we didn't want. Because I actually thought the first 10-15 minutes, I don't know when they scored, but the first 10 minutes certainly I thought we were okay in the game and maybe had more of the territory, but the game totally flips, and it's just a hopeful ball turn. The reason we play Cabora at the top of the pitch today is because we do feel Hibs were a wee bit susceptible to the ball in behind, and we didn't want them in just having the luxury of just playing against 2 at times. So, obviously it's a huge moment in the game, the goalkeeper getting sent off, and then the second red card helps our cause, no 2 ways about it. But I thought we stayed calm, stayed disciplined. We could have settled on the ball and gone back into where we just came from at time and get little overloads. But I think you need to credit Hibs for that. I thought the work rate they put in was sensational, especially their middle lot, doing the yards to help their fullbacks. And you're just looking for that calmness and somebody to step up. And when we need somebody, our captain does it again. It was a brilliant finish, good play from Kajota. And that was the adrenaline, the shot of oxygen. We felt that, come on, let's go and get the winner now. And we just needed calmness. And Blair Spittle scores goals like that every day. It doesn't lash at it, which we were guilty of at times. He just stays knee over the ball, stays calm, nice side foot finish, and it could be such an important goal for us. But to win any derby, you have to do a lot right. The game was a bit unusual in that aspect, but I thought we just about deserve a win because we kept our discipline and we kept going.
Kevin, they're not going anywhere, are they? It could well be. Celebrations are going to be for Hearts at the end of the season. What will the celebrations be like there in Edinburgh?
Oh,
you had a couple of years. You enjoyed it there at Hearts, didn't you?
I loved it. It's a great city, great club. I don't think they expected for this to happen, because obviously Dale came in last year, they finished 7th.
Yeah.
And then to have this, and I know obviously Laurie touched on that they've been fortunate because of the ongoings between Celtic and Rangers and the staff appointments and things. And are they really fortunate?
No.
Because they still have to go out and win games. So I don't think they're fortunate. I think they've just went about their business quite quietly. They've turned off the noise, because that can be, and that probably helps being the team in Edinburgh, because obviously through here in Glasgow we are talking about it more than, there's no radio stations in Edinburgh talking about Hearts and Hibs, you know what I mean, every night of the week. So
and everywhere in conversation in Glasgow, in the West, everyone wants to talk. What's going to happen? What do you reckon? What about last night? What about tomorrow night? What's going?
And like, there's no team that they have to play is going to lie down to Hearts, because they're all playing for something. The celebrations will be incredible if they can do it. I think for Scottish football it'll be an incredible achievement. I just don't want to think that it's going to happen like it did when they had to, when Hearts had to go to Dundee, was it Dundee?
Yeah, 40 years ago.
Get a win,
absolutely.
and they lost in the last day and they lost the title.
And Celtic had to beat St Mirren by 5, and they did.
And if you look at this weekend, we're always looking at permutations and things that can happen, and talking about goal difference. Everybody talking about goal difference. Well, the reality is, if Rangers were to go to Tynecastle and get a result, and Celtic were to go to Easter Road and get a result, even if it's just 1-0 either way, well, that's a 2-goal swing that then brings it down to 3. The goal difference of 3. So, like, before you know it, you've still got 3 games left and it's only 3 goals. So the reality is there's still loads of football to play, and you could sit here and say, well, I fancy Celtic, I fancy Rangers, I fancy Hearts. Nobody really has a clue. Every week it's changing, and we all have our own opinions of who we would like to win the title. But I'll just sit on the fence this week and wait till next week.
You're not the first one to say this week that we're clueless.
Just wrap it up from there.
And we know we are. Did you hear Darren saying that? I don't remember. You were 1 or something, were you? 1986?
I was born 87.
You oh God, right.
No, you're looking at me.
You
going,
were
no, I must have been about 10. But,
no.
87.
Yeah. Craig, you look a bit like saw George Clooney last night. You heard there Louise talking about it with Social Bite. He's a class act. He was really, really good. Yeah,
he's the king.
Yeah, he was in good form. 1.4 million was raised last night for Social Bite. You know, creating houses for homeless people.
That's
it's
amazing.
Phenomenal. Josh Littlejohn, MBE, and the people there. It was Bob Geldof was there as well. Rob Brydon and our own Sir Tom Hunter contributed massively as well. So it was a fantastic night there.
Super.
And so
I
think Paul raised half that money.
I wish.
How did your kilt walk go? I didn't get it.
What? You've obviously know. It was brilliant. Yeah, we had 20,000 walkers, and they've raised 4.3 million already, heading for 4.4 million.
Fantastic.
That's
For
amazing.
1,111 charities. So it was great. Thanks. Gina was there as well down at Balloch. She was just cheering people on and setting them on the way. It's a great day.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
Manager of the month is in, and it's the Celtic manager, Martin O'Neill, who's got that accolade. So yeah, another award for Martin.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. I think Celtic had 4 games in the month. Won 4. Obviously went through in the semi-final of the Cup. As simple as that, really. We couldn't do any more. So yeah, incredible job he's doing, and well, hopefully he continues it to the end of the season.
I guess the manager of the month for May is the one, though, isn't it, Kevin? Because that'll be, you'd imagine, whoever is the winner of the title.
You would think so.
It's going to be, isn't it? Yeah.
I was curious to find out if there's a manager of the month curse up here in Scotland. There used to be one in England.
Remember that?
So we'll find out the weekend.
Did it not happen with new contracts as well, when people would get a new 3-year deal and a big bump up, and then they lose?
Or they get injured for 6 months.
Yeah. Manager of the year, I'm not going to go on for long because we've talked about it most nights this week. I think Rob did last night as well with the guys. Kevin, for you, Who would it be?
I think it's Derek McInnes for me.
Yeah.
As well as John McGlynn has done with his Falkirk side. They do play lovely football. But Derek McInnes to be top of the league since, was he said September, Paul?
End of September.
And 4 games to go and potentially lifting a title. That merits a manager of the year, definitely.
Darren?
Yeah, I know they have to do it now, but the reality is I just think whoever wins the league should get it, unless there's someone in it, someone from an outstanding point of view. Like I remember, did Callum Davidson didn't get it, did he, when he won the 2 cups? I don't think. But if someone achieved that, I think they deserve. I deserve. Was it Stephen? Is that not the year Rangers won? Stephen Gerrard maybe won it. Anyway, point being, if someone does something special outside, Derek McInnes right now, top of the league for as long as he had. If you had to vote now, I totally get Derek McInnes winning it. I just think really it should just come down, because if Danny Roll wins it, he's 13 points off them and won the league.
Sure.
Martin O'Neill, we've talked about it on this show. I think whoever wins it, but I have to say, if you were voting now, you'd have to go with Derek McInnes.
And I see Bertel Askew isn't in the players manager of the year that came up overnight, didn't it? So he's not there. Were you surprised he's not one of the contenders? No,
I'm not surprised, because
he hasn't won anything.
I'm going to say this honestly. His football's great. Not really got him anywhere. It's got him 4th. They won anything, not in the cups, out of the league. So how can you give that just because the football's been good? John
where he
McGlynn's
brought Motherwell from?
I know, but
sure, John McGlynn brought them up.
John McGlynn's brought Falkirk up through the leagues and got them to a semi-final in the cup. And I think if John McGlynn had got through the Dunfermline game and got to the cup final, potentially might have been swayed towards John McGlynn. But
we'll talk about that more after 6. I'll tell you why Stephen Reside is going to join us, who is our celebrity Motherwell supporter, as well as he's going to be coming to speak about the Disability Forum next week. A big discussion in Perth. He'll tell us more about it. But Stephen and others do so much to make sure that people are treated as well as possible. I mean, you went round all the grounds, but we'll talk about it after 6. Dan, you get the privilege of meeting, because you hear him on social media. Absolutely. He turns up and off the ball and here and Super Scoreboard, we're everywhere. So he's ubiquitous. He's a great guy. So we're looking forward to seeing him. And I think probably his dad, Bill, as well, who's a football coach.
Is he?
Aye. So he can give you a few tips.
He could give me a few pointers. Aye. He'd probably tell me best just to quit.
You never know. You mentioned there that Derek McInnes for you would be manager of the year. And if they have to choose it, which they do, before the end of it, he's gone the whole way. This was him speaking after his win at the weekend. I don't think we're going to hear it. There's been a technical. Try one more time. No, it's not working there. Not to worry. So
it'd be if you had to do it now, and Derek McInnes, and you didn't give it to Derek McInnes, and then he won the league, it'd be utterly criminal. So I totally get it. I think he will win it. Albeit I think the other 2 candidates are very, very viable. But yeah, it has to be Derek McInnes right now. I just think ultimately all 3 of them should get it if they win the league.
Jamie is in the car along with Suzanne, and they're on the phone saying, "What about Kelly? What are you thinking this weekend? Your old club, Kevin Kyle, Kilmarnock against Dundee United, must win for them."
It's a must win because it's a home game. I didn't actually see their game or highlights at the weekend, but Dundee United had a great win against Dundee, so they'll be full of confidence. But the reality is, Kilmarnock it's a must win, because I can see Dundee getting something. I can see Dundee taking points from St Mirren. And if that was the case and Kilmarnock were to get some points, then that narrows the gap to St Mirren above them, because games do quickly run out, and I don't want Kilmarnock being in that scenario that I find myself in a couple of times when I was playing with them, going to the last game of the season to try and stay up. It's not nice.
How did that happen, given how well they did last season?
It's a hard one to put your finger on it, because teams, if you think of like how did that happen in terms of how well they did that season, you could then say that same argument for Motherwell. How did this happen? How bad they were last year to how good they are this year. So there is a combination of factors, but changing the managers, did they appoint the right manager in the first place? Obviously with Stuart Kettlewell to start with, and then they went from Stuart Kettlewell to
Chris Dolan was in just for a short period, wasn't
Chris Dolan took in because he left, he was in the backroom staff, and then obviously now they've went with Neil McCann. So there's a lot of change there. And at the beginning of the season, I thought Stuart Kettlewell actually had Kilmarnock playing quite well. But then a dip in form, and then before you know it, you lose a game, you lose another game, and then you go on a run, the manager gets the sack. Then you're looking for a bounce, you didn't get a bounce, then you bring in Neil McCann, and he's been a bit up and down as well with results. But the reality is that Kilmarnock won't give a jot as long as they don't finish. They're not going to finish bottom, but can they finish 10th and avoid that playoff? Do I think Kilmarnock have more than the teams below them in terms of Partick, Arbroath, and potentially Dunfermline?
Yeah.
I think they're stronger than 3 of those teams, but in playoff games, we just don't know.
Of course,
because it's a what is it? Is it a 2-legged thing in the final?
Two-legged
thing. So you see that in the Champions League. It's similar. It's 2 legs. Anybody can win.
But you fancy Killie for this weekend?
I fancy Killie to beat Dundee United. Yeah.
Okay, Darren, what do you feel about Kilmarnock?
More on Dundee United. I don't know how Dundee United keep an edge now, and supporters, fans don't like that. And it's not a conscious thing; it's a subconscious thing. They're pretty much nailed on now for 7th. So they might have lost their edge. They've had the euphoric win of beating Dundee the weekend. I just feel like they'll peter out. Not necessarily in terms of they'll lose all their games or anything, but I just don't think they'll have the same edge. So Kilmarnock definitely will have an edge. So yeah, I would fancy Kilmarnock. I worry for St Mirren.
Yeah,
I
really
really do.
Last weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that shocked everybody.
Yeah, really. Exactly that. That's the last result they needed, and Craig McLeish has taken a lot of credit, and rightly so. And none of this is kind of pinned on him. But the reality is now you're with a manager that hasn't been a manager yet, and the experience of it. Neil McCann came in at Dundee and has experienced this before the club and kept Dundee up. So that can count for a lot in these moments. So I worry about for St Mirren. The one thing I would say is I think all these teams blow away the championship teams.
Yeah.
St Mirren or Kilmarnock. Yeah. So I do think they'll stay in the league.
Are you saying you think Dundee are going to beat St Mirren though? Your old club Dundee or
no, not necessarily. No. I think that there'll be a close game. I think that could be a draw. I think Kilmarnock will win, and that will be a draw at Dens Park.
Dundee, St Mirren, Kevin?
I feel like Dundee will go all out to win the game because I think 3 points then basically guarantees them safety of any playoff, being on 36 points and potentially Kilmarnock and St Mirren below them. I think Dundee will have that eye on, can we get 3 points here today and kind of settle our season down? And I think if they do, I think there's a big massive credit to Stephen Pressley considering the kind of uproar at the beginning of the season when he took the job on. They didn't really want him. They weren't too sure. He got off to a really bad start, but he's hung in there and fought and won some unbelievable games over the course of the season, beating Celtic. I'm sure they gave Rangers a couple of tough games as well. So credit to Stephen Preston. They'll come back stronger. So I think they could get something against St Mirren. Whether they can win the game, I'm unsure because of the defeat they had at Dundee United at the weekend, and St Mirren again will be trying to get points as well. So I'm going to go with a draw.
He's just a little bit different, isn't he, Stephen Pressley?
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, I played with him.
Of course.
Brilliant guy, very intelligent, articulate. And yeah, he's just a little bit different, maybe dressed a bit different, looks a bit different. And normally you kind of get pigeonholed then. But no, I totally agree with Kevin. He's done a great job, and particularly under the way he came in, the kind of feeling of the way he came in, and then he didn't start particularly well. He's done a really, really good job.
Do you know whose birthday it is today? One of the Lisbon Lions, Jim Craig, OBE. So Jim, 83 years young. Wow. So what a guy. Isn't he? Great dentist. Jimmy was.
Was
yeah.
he? Aye?
Yeah, he went to Glasgow Uni, qualified dentist. He and Liz, great couple. So, and he's one of the few remaining Lisbon Lions. And they won everything that year, including
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 1717 700. Talking Scottish football first.
Also talking about the Championship, where we know the champions are St Johnstone, but then tomorrow night it's the final countdown in the Championship. Who's going to come up through the playoffs? And tomorrow night there's some great games. It's such a long season for them, isn't it? If you go, I mean, look at Dunfermline, they've got the cup final as well. Do they sacrifice the cup final for a playoff position? Probably not. The cup final would mean so much to them. Darren, maybe they can do both.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely would put a lot of money. They will absolutely be going for both. I don't think they'll prioritise anything. But you're totally right. Obviously, with the game being right at the back end of May. But yeah, I was looking at. I know they lost to St Johnstone.
Yeah.
They were on an incredible run. Like it was like 11-12 without a loss, and Neil Lennon went in there last year. They were obviously in a bit of bother at the bottom end of the table, and it's quite the opposite this season. So,
you fancy them tomorrow night against Arbroath?
Yeah, you're what you're talking about. It's a long season. I wonder how much they put into. Like, they're also going to play against each other. Do you hold your cards close to your chest?
This
I don't know. So tomorrow might be a little bit skewed. But I fancy Dunfermline to go past Arbroath when they play each other.
When it comes to it.
Yeah.
Kevin, what do you feel?
I feel that Lenny has that momentum just now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the cup final is basically that dangling carrot of let's just go and enjoy our day. But the reality is Neil Lennon will be looking to try and get Dunfermline into the Premier League. And he'll prioritise that.
It was quite courageous of him, wasn't it, to go to Dunfermline, having been manager of Celtic. Manager at Hibs.
Absolutely, because if you look at Lenny's CV in terms of what he did at Celtic and other teams, sometimes there can be a bit of football snobbery in how you pick your jobs. But whereas what he's shown is that, right, okay, that big job maybe isn't out there for me. I might need to go somewhere to put myself back in the shop window. And he's chose Dunfermline. However that connection comes apart, whether it's somebody from the board or whatever, he's in there. He's got them into a playoff place. He's got them to the Scottish Cup final. Other managers in other leagues must be looking at that and thinking there's still life in Neil Lennon yet. Yeah. And I think over the course of the season, when he's been doing punditry during the week, he's one of the top pundits, by the way.
Yeah. He speaks so well, doesn't he?
Regardless of what you think, he is one of the top pundits. He speaks very well about the game, and I quite like listening to him. So I wish Neil Lennon all the best with Dunfermline. It is a big ask, but I think when you're the team in fourth, Paul, I think you can gather momentum because you play third and then you play second. Whereas Partick Thistle have to wait a week or two before they get to play. So there's that idea, but we'll see what happens.
You know him so well, Darren.
Yeah, the way he speaks. Neil Lennon was a player, and then he's obviously been a manager, coach and manager at Celtic. So he has this reputation of being, which he is. He is fiery and he's passionate, and certainly I can speak for myself. When you were a player, you overstep the mark at times, and you sometimes get tired with that. The reality is he's a very, very articulate guy, very intelligent, loves football, absolutely loves football. So you think some managers might be choosy. He's just probably desperate to be involved.
Yeah. He's every game, isn't he?
Yeah,
he pops up on every TV set.
And it echoes over onto the players. Every team he has plays with a real personality, and that's befitting of him as a manager.
And what about for Mark Wilson and for Alex there at Partick Thistle? Do you think they're going to come up? Well, when I say come up, are they going to come out on top and then face whoever it is, St Mirren, Kilmarnock?
I think
Dundee.
What I would say is Partick have been, I know they've come second, so it's blatantly obvious, but they have been besides St Johnstone, they've been the outstanding team. So you would nearly say they deserve it, but they've been hit with injuries. They will actually be delighted that they've a couple of weeks break. So it makes for, as usual with the Championship, it makes for a brilliant end to the season. Glasgow derby tomorrow night then, Kevin. Partick Thistle against Queen's Park. Queen's Park been up and down, haven't they? They have been up and down, but they've actually steadied the ship and have done quite well, because there was a big part of the season there that looked like Queen's Park were heading for relegation. But to get to the 40-point mark and guarantee themselves some safety, I think he's done a good job, the boy that went in there. But like Darren says, Partick Thistle have been the outstanding, and up until maybe like 3 weeks ago, they were still in a title race. So no, I think that Partick Thistle will take care of Queen's Park, but I don't think they'll be too fussed either way. It'll be a case of, can we keep everybody fit? Can we get everybody off the park? And can we prepare and get some boys back ready for the playoff final? Where it really counts, of course, is at the bottom of the table. So Ross County, a bit of a revival, a big bit of a revival, on 34 points. Airdrie on 35, Morton 37, Ayr on 39. What about Wraith Rovers, Ross County then tomorrow? That's going to be, wow. Yeah, that's big for Ross County. I wouldn't have fancied them a couple of weeks ago, but now they've had a little bit of a revival. They've Everton to play for. I wouldn't say fancy them, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick up a win. The one is Morton and Airdrie. That's on a knife edge, especially for Morton Airdrie. When you've been down there all year long and you're fighting, you're in that mode. Morton have got dragged right back in. So that's a scary tie for them. Sure is. LA will be there. Our own Leslie Ann here from the Go Radio Sales Department. Is she going to be smiling tomorrow night, do you think? Morton against Airdrie, Kevin? No. Maybe.
It's such a close game.
Yep.
Obviously for Airdrie it's a must win. And when games are must win, they then become open. So anything could happen tomorrow night. And obviously with Ross County and Raith Rovers, me personally, from a selfish point of view, I would be looking at that league table if I was Raith Rovers and thinking, if we can relegate them out of the league, that'll save us travelling all the way to Dingwall. So because
that's the longest trip, isn't it?
It's horrendous. Wow. So no, listen, Ross County have found themselves in a right pickle this season. Can they make a miraculous escape? Obviously it's in their hands in terms of where they finish, because something has to give between Morton and Airdrie. So if Ross County were to get the 3 points, they can guarantee themselves the second place at the bottom and give themselves a fighting chance, whereas anything other than defeat or a draw are gone.
It's going to be some weekend, isn't it?
It's going to be incredible, yeah. Absolutely incredible. From Friday night then into the weekend.
I know, yeah. Culminating on Monday, of course.
Yeah, and then
the Kevin Kyle derby, Hearts against Rangers at 5:30. Danny Rowe's been speaking about the crowd, because, the Rangers fans, early in the season, the discontent, they were so unhappy under Russell Martin. And then Andrew Kavanagh moved quickly, made the changes. And then came Danny Rowe. And so far, so good, apart from that result at the weekend. But he praised the fans who were with him all the way.
Outstanding, really outstanding. The crowd was there from the beginning by the warm-up. Even after the 1-0 or 2-0, they were still there. They believe. They helped us in the second half. And we all deserved it finally. The win, the 3-2. We couldn't, but now we can show erection and we go again. And I will miss them in the next 2 games. Yeah, we will do this for them to have a good home game against Hibs where we can play for something.
Quite a promise there, Kevin. They're going to do it for the fans.
Listen, you have to be confident. He certainly has the artillery there in terms of his players and his squad to be able to achieve what he's hoping to achieve. But putting that together on a Saturday consistently over the remaining 4 games is difficult. But you've got to speak positive. There's no way you can speak negatively. The fans, I think the Rangers fans, sometimes it's the hope that kills you, because they were out of it and then they've got themselves in it and then they've lost the game on Saturday, so there's a wee bit of discontent. So the Rangers fans have to get back on board on Monday and give their team every bit of support they possibly can, because it's as simple as this. If Rangers win the game on Monday, they're right back in the title race, and it's as simple as that. There's no any fancy permutations. Rangers just have to win the game on Monday and they're back in the title race. So Danny Rowe has to believe that his players can do that.
It's funny, isn't it? It was about a month ago when Celtic lost to Hibs. Yeah. Celtic fans thought, well, that's it. It's not going to happen. Yep. It's strange, isn't it? I don't remember a season like this.
You genuinely could see, I could see a scenario, there is a possibility, a high possibility. Rangers go and win against Hearts, and if Celtic drop points, you could make an argument the Rangers become favourites because they would only be a point behind Hearts, and I think the momentum of that for Rangers would see them go above Hearts. So it's just on a knife edge, and that's what makes it brilliant.
Darren's on asking, was the training camp an issue, Kevin? Do you think the fact Rangers went to the Sunshine?
I did say beforehand when I was on here one night that why do they need to go abroad for a week or whatever, 5 days? I can't remember how long they actually went for.
Yeah, 5 days.
Why? I can understand it. Yep. But I don't get it. I never really saw the benefit of these winter camps, because you're going maybe somewhere to Spain that's 25 degrees. Do we have 25 degrees worth of weather here? We probably do today.
Not that exactly.
But we don't. And I always thought if Rangers come back and have a defeat, that'll be the first thing they'll say, well, why did we go away? Why did we not just stay here? Because I always think as a footballer, when you get an opportunity to go away with the team for 5-6 days to Spain, to a training camp, you think, oh, great. But I think players, what I always felt was, if they just said to me, look, you can have 3 days at home with your family and kids, I'd have preferred that.
Sure, yeah.
Because I would have been felt more relaxed about it.
You can't train all the time.
No, you can't train all the time. And you're, it's like going away in international duty, and Darren will tell you exactly the same. You just go away and you end up eating the same things. You wake up, you have scrambled egg and you have whatever. Then you have your lunch, which is potatoes, pasta, tomato sauce. Then you have your dinner. It's the exact same thing. And that's constant for the next 4 or 5 days. Yeah. Boring.
You find it a bit boring?
Oh, it's horrendously boring.
Absolutely think it's irrelevant.
I
don't think there's massive benefits from it. I absolutely don't think it's the reason they lost either. It's just somewhere in between.
I think that's what Danny Rowe felt.
This is a good question from your side. In this case, you want to tell me now the first 45 minutes is an outcome from the training camp? Yeah, I will not make a comment to this. Sorry. I said there's some reasons why, but it is not the camp is the reason why. Sorry. I can tell you the reason why, but this is a part from my job to do with the group, not with you. Sorry.
He's just not getting involved. What he did get involved with was Celtic saying, look, we don't want any Union Bears at the Old Firm game coming up. He was asked about it.
I hope that we find a solution, because my player deserved this, and not just the players. I think such a game with a good crowd is always what we want, and I still believe that we're also going in this side.
Danny Rule. So I think we'll hear more from them tomorrow night as we head in to the weekend. What was it like, say, a week like this just before such a huge part of the season, Darren? I guess you're as fit as you're ever going to be. You might be carrying an injury or two. The finishing line, is it in sight by now with 4 games to go? Can you think what it was like with 4 games to go?
Yeah, I think the level you train at comes down, and I don't mean in terms of not in terms of you're coming off the gas. It's you protect yourself because you've hit the nail on the head. You won't get fitter. You're in a rhythm probably a lot. Well, the vast majority of players, you might get a couple that are coming back from injury. So it's just about staying fit, trying to just wait and nearly calm before the storm, calm before each game, and quickly digesting each game and moving to the next one. That's the key. That's why I've always fancied Celtic, and the next I would always fancy Rangers after that, because they're used to these euphoric kind of moments. It's very hard to digest them, to come back down again, to go back up. But you have to be able to do it, and you have to be able to do it quickly. So, yeah, I think it's actually a nice part of the season, believe it or not. There's a lot of pressure. But earlier in the season, you're working extremely hard to get up full fitness, and there's multiple sessions. I think now it's just all about the games.
Kevin?
Aye, on Darren's point there about like Celtic and Rangers have been there, tried and tested, and they're always there at the end of each season winning titles. But on that basis, usually when Celtic win titles, they have the same squads. So if you think of the Celtic team that won last year, you've probably got McGregor, you've got James Forrest, you've got what do you call your man, Alistair Johnson, you've got Young. They were all there apart. Whereas Rangers, you only have Tavernier really that's won a Premier League title. So those players are new to this. So there's a different pressure there.
Suter, did he come in afterwards, or
no? He was. He didn't. I don't think he won the title, the 55 one. So you have to look at it from that. Although the manager, you asked earlier, Paul, can the manager see over the line? Can the player see over the line? Because the only one that's done it is James Tavernier, and he's at this minute in time, he's the guy that's on the bench. So there's a big pressure there. But in terms of preparation and things, I didn't ever was in a title race in terms of like in Scottish football, but we were involved in title races in England Championship, trying to get through the playoffs and stuff, and it was like sometimes we didn't finish top 2, would be in the playoffs guaranteed. So it was a case of Mick would say, right, you're being rested this week because we need you for this. And then times where you would try and pick your games to make sure that everybody was fit, and sometimes you never actually trained. It was just like little looseners, out you go, a bit of keep ball, a couple of rondos, and then you come because you have that fear of somebody getting injured. And that's probably where Rangers and Celtic probably are at this minute in time. They're probably conscious of how much do they train, do we need to train at this intensity, because adrenaline should be taking over now, where it's like, right guys, 4 games, let's just get 3 points today and we move on to the next game at a time. And listen, I don't speak from experience because I've not been in a title race this tight, but adrenaline should be getting you through these last 4 games.
Should. Our adrenaline's going. Stephen Reside is going to join us. He is in the building. So we're going to take a quick break and then we're back. We'll take more calls. 0808 17 17 700.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
And I'm delighted to welcome to the programme Stephen Reside. Stephen, welcome back.
How you doing?
Great, thank you. How'd you like the new gaff here, the new studio?
Loving it. There's a lot more space than there was in the last year.
It was, we were in the radio studio. This is, this was done up for Hunter and Hockey for the business show. So it's also for us as well. And the politics with Bernard Ponsonby. So great. Kevin Kills here as well, as you know, and also Darren O'Dea.
Yep.
So you've watched these two?
Aye.
On many occasions?
No. Yeah. I think Kev caused us a few problems, and obviously Darren playing with Celtic, we didn't get many wins against him either, but thankfully the team's doing better nowadays. So
They sure are. Everyone's talking about Motherwell. If I had a pound for every time that people say best football team, playing great football in the country, we'll talk about that. I do want to talk about, though, the main reason you're in is because of the SFU Disability Forum on the 7th of May. You told us about this 6 months ago or so, that something was being put together. Can you tell us what it is next week?
Yeah, so I'm essentially the lead for the Scottish Football Union on disability, and we work closely with the SPFL and the SFA. And what we want to do is essentially get the people who work for disabled people, so the DAOs, Ashley Reid for Scottish Para Football, everybody that's working towards creating a better environment for people with disabilities within football, in the one room and talking. So we've set up this forum where we're going to have Ashley Reid's going to be doing a speech. You've got John Attenborough, who you might remember the Give Vision story, but he was at Fir Park and actually got to see a game for the first time. We've got Owen Davis from Level Playing Field, who are responsible for setting the standard for making sure that disabled facilities across the UK are adhered to and are up to scratch.
Which you're so passionate about in Scotland.
And it's just great to have these guys involved, and how can we basically be a further voice for Level Playing Field within Scotland. And we've got Keith Ferguson as well, who has done great work for CAFE, which is the Centre for Access in Football in Europe. And he's also the DAO at Hearts, so he'll be happy.
But not half the Hearts.
No, it's just about getting these people in the one room and seeing how we can create a better environment for people with disabilities across Scotland. Get more disabled people involved in disability sport via Ashley. Improve the ticketing situation for disabled fans. And even small things, I've always went on about elevated views, but can we make sure that every club in Scotland's got a DSA? Because I think
DSA is a
Disabled Supporters Association where they can meet up.
Have they not all got them?
Not every club in Scotland has one, no. And I don't think it matters whether there's 2 fans or 20 fans. There should be a place for disabled people to meet once a month and really talk about what's happening at their club. And as well, if we can get more people involved in disability sport, then I think it's great, because it'll give people something to do.
Absolutely. You're so passionate about it. I mean, Motherwell, but also disability access. Because guys, you went round the country, you've been to lots of the grounds, and you assess them. You're online quite a lot, aren't you, on social media, and you called it out, good and bad.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's all terrible.
No,
There's some stadiums that are brilliant. I mean, Hampden, as you would expect, for it being a national stadium, they've recently done theirs up. Ibrox and Celtic Park the same. But I think in the 90s, when all these disabled facilities were put in, we had old stadia. And it was basically, let's just put them in the corner where we can fit them. Well, what I'm saying is, let's look at how we can make it the best possible experience for disabled supporters. And I don't think with modern stadia that there's any excuse for not having elevated views. There's no excuse. So it's something that I've always campaigned for, and it's good to see clubs improving. Facilities Kilmarnock as well put a platform in for their home supporters, so it's good to see things happening.
You don't have to watch Kevin there at the moment as well then, so Kevin, we've been a bit cheeky with you.
Listen, by the way, he caused Motherwell havoc, so
I can take it. I can take it, but I'm just sitting there thinking when he's talking about Kilmarnock in particular. I remember when I played with Kilmarnock, I always used to see the disabled supporters sat in the corner, and I'm thinking, how did these guys actually see the game?
You couldn't. It was like a post.
Because
it was so low, wasn't it?
And obviously you're touching on modern stadia. In Scotland, we are in the unfortunate position of a lot of stadiums are very old, dated and tired, and they maybe do need a bit of upgrading. So I would imagine in time when that does happen, because Aberdeen's obviously talking about a new stadium down by the beach and things. But
it is better now, isn't it, at Rugby Park?
Yeah, all we want clubs to do is try.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We know that there's financial implications that come along with these, but at least listen and try and improve that. We know, for example, Pollock, I'm going to use Pollock at Junior Club.
Eulsfield,
They've even put a wee shelter in.
Have they?
Now that's fine, because at least they're trying to do something.
Of course.
They've not got the facilities available for them to put in a platform or an elevated view, so at least they're trying. They've also got a disabled toilet. So if clubs like that are trying, what's stopping clubs in the Premiership for doing the same?
How's your own Motherwell?
We're doing well, we're doing great.
No, I mean facilities wise.
Facilities, well, we've extended our disabled shelter and we are looking at options.
And where is it then? So if I look from the main stand.
So it's in between the main stand and the south stand where the away fans are housed.
Right, okay.
There's a full shelter there. We know that it's not necessarily ideal. We know that, but we are looking at alternative options of hopefully one day getting an elevated view.
Was that the Motorola stand? Do you remember that?
No, it was it's a big one. There's 2 tiers.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's just in between that and the main stand.
Yeah. What are you looking for? Have you prepared your You all speak from the heart anyway, but have you got a presentation ready for next Thursday? And it's at McDermott Park, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's a few things that we're going to be looking at. I've mentioned the people doing presentations, and I'm going to be doing one myself because I believe that the standard of ticketing for disabled supporters can be better across the country. So I've come up with a wee idea that I'll keep close to my chest until I'm ready to roll it out. But there's sometimes you go, especially for away supporters, it can deviate who you're getting tickets from. Am I phoning Motherwell? Am I phoning Falkirk? It can deviate. I'm just using Falkirk as an example because that's who we play this weekend. There was even one instance when I tried to get tickets at Airdrie and Motherwell were telling me at the time, this was when I wasn't on the board by the way, Motherwell were telling me at the time, Airdrie are dealing with it, and Airdrie are telling me at the time, no, Motherwell was dealing with it. So let's take all that away, essentially, and make it easier for people. But more information will come out in that, hopefully, in the future.
So it's getting better.
Well, we're trying to make it better,
Trying to get so it's not where it should be. This is really important. I hope it gets a lot of coverage as well.
And I'm not saying it's terrible because obviously we can't get tickets and there's places for this to go, but I just think there needs to be that clarity there, and it needs to be made easier. It should be as easy for a disabled person to go on the phone and get a ticket as well as for an able-bodied person. So, we're working on something.
Stephen's on the Welsh Society now, so you're on the board.
Yeah, and we've got the elections coming up. We're losing 3 valuable members. Well, elections are ongoing, sorry, the voting's open now, it closes on Monday actually, so we're losing 3 valuable members in Philip Speedy, Amber Johnson and Sean Bailey, but there's 4 members that have put themselves forward who we'll find out on Monday which ones get elected to the board.
And what does the Welsh Society do?
Well, the Welsh Society is essentially the majority shareholder of the football club, and we basically look to provide a safety net for the club. We've got over £1 million. I think it was last year we made £1 million by May, over £1 million, just so that if anything happens, you may remember that the club went into administration and very nearly went out of business. So we've got that there as a safety net. And this year we're also celebrating our 140th year. So we're looking to target 140 new members for that 140th year of Motherwell Football Club to the Welsh Society. And I don't think any Motherwell fans out there, you cannot tell me that there's not a better time to join the Welsh Society than now. The team's flourishing on the pitch. We've been doing things off the pitch. We've launched a new podcast which I present alongside Derek Watson. We've opened Mrs. Bailey's Bar, and there's other things that we have in the pipeline that will be announced.
Fantastic. And you've got the players. I mean, obviously we all know about Lennon Miller last year. Everyone's talking about Elijah Just. Maswanisi, arguably should be player of the year, 22 goals. Your manager, everyone's talking about Bertolascu as well. Where do you want to start? What about that man? What's he like? Because everyone's admired him.
He's fantastic. And what I will say about Jens is in the very few conversations that I've had, everybody will talk about Jens tactically, right? See, when you speak to Jens, he looks very at you. You can tell he's engrossed in everything that you're saying. So I can just imagine that as a player playing for somebody like that who you know is paying attention to you and is listening. And he's fantastic. I mean, Michael Wimmer built the foundations towards the end of last year, but Jens certainly built the house. And it's a house, Fir Park's a house that nobody's enjoyed coming to this season. So, but listen, it's been a joy to watch. And I can honestly say, with my Motherwell supporter hat on, it's the best team I've ever seen. I don't care that we've not won anything. Maybe perhaps we should have this year. Maybe that's the one we gripe that
the cup.
We've not managed to get a cup. But I've never seen a better team than this.
Well, you under Stephen Robinson, who obviously did a brilliant job. You went 2 cup finals, was it?
That's right.
Finals, so
great manager, by the way.
Absolutely. Well, that's a big statement, and I've been at Fir Park numerous times this year, and I'd agree with that.
What do you like about them so much this season?
It's the football's about winning, or sports about winning. I get that, but when you watch Motherwell, I'm not a supporter of the club, and I've been at more Motherwell games than I've been at any other team. I've been at Motherwell more than I've been at Celtic Park this year.
Just good to watch good football.
Brilliant football, brilliant football, and it's just a brand of football that you go and you watch and you enjoy. And okay, my feeling isn't whether the result goes either way, but anyone would enjoy watching that level of football, I think. So if you're a Motherwell fan, you're definitely going to enjoy watching it.
Kevin, the Well, what would you want to say to Stephen?
I don't know. It's like, I think a lot of football clubs are quite envious of having the manager you have. I think a lot of teams would love to have somebody with that forward thinking, that belief in their coaching ability to turn players like listen, Masmanisi has had an unbelievable season this year, but he was also decent last season. You could see that he has something about him. He's not just came on the scene this season, but guys like Elijah Just and Slattery and Watt. And then if you look at their back four, how you've managed to have like Stephen Welsh, McGinn, Stephen O'Donnell, like these guys playing really top level football. That for me is the biggest. Like, he's turned seasoned pros into great players this season. That, like, I think on Saturday when I was watching that Mother game, you'll be able to help me out. I saw Stephen O'Donnell running through the midfield, getting onto a cross from somebody.
He was like man possessed, wasn't he?
I'm like,
the transfer that Stephen O'Donnell epitomises the transformation in the club, because there was times where Stephen was maybe a scapegoat for supporters. He has been fantastic this season. There's times where he's played like Cafu, there's times where he's played like Baresi, he was playing centre half. But to see him in the 90th minute running half the length of the pitch at Ibrox to go and win the game, and that for me, everybody talks about the performance against Celtic at home where they didn't get near us, which is crazy to say. But for me, that's the best performance of the season, because I don't know if you remember the one against Rangers, the best performance of the season, because I don't know if you remember the one the season against Hearts. We were 3-0 up. 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go, and we do 3-3. We went to Ibrox when Rangers are chasing a title. We're 2-0 up. They couldn't get near us in the first half. It was as if we were an elite European side going there. We just overloaded the midfield and they couldn't get a kick. They've then pegged us back to 2 each. Any other Motherwell team sits in and goes, we'll take a point. No, that side. And I have to say, even when Rangers were coming back into the game at 2-1 and 2-2, I still thought we carried a threat going forward. I still thought that
absolutely did.
The Maswanese has a shot, and if Tavernier's no there, backtracking, then Manny Wangel's got a tap in. Manny Wangel's probably leaving there thinking, God, I could have had a hat trick at Ibrox today. And that's a guy that's played left back, by the way, who's got 9 goals this season. Every signing that we've made has been fantastic. They've all brought something to the side. And what Jens has been able to do is take the players up there like the Paul McGinns, like the Stephen O'Donnells, and just enhance the performance that you're getting out of them. And it's just been the perfect recipe for success.
On Stephen O'Donnell, do you think Stephen O'Donnell, having played in a Euros under Steve Clark,
I know it's coming.
Do you think he's been harshly done by in terms of, because let's think about this for a minute here. If Aaron Hickey's fit, Aaron Hickey plays at right back for Scotland in the World Cup.
If he's fit.
If he's fit. But if the other option has been Tony Ralston, who has played how many games for Celtic this season, whereas Stephen O'Donnell has played how many games for Motherwell, and probably been more of a marauding right back than he's ever been because the leashes. So is there an argument that Stephen O'Donnell can maybe play his way in, or do you think that race is run?
What I will say is, it's not for me to tell Steve Clark what to do, but I just think that there was times when Anthony Ralston wasn't playing for Celtic this season. Sometimes he was even 4th choice. Right back. And I'm not having a dig at Anthony Ralston. He's a talented footballer. But Stephen O'Donnell's playing week in, week out for Motherwell. The argument that Steve Clark may say, Scotland don't play the same way the Motherwell do. So are you going to get the same Stephen O'Donnell in that system? But if you're rewarding players based on form and you're asking me my opinion, then absolutely Stephen O'Donnell should be. And that's Scotland's one. And by the way, I will say Paul McGinn as well. People forget about Paul McGinn. Paul McGinn is 37 years of age.
No way.
Scottish Thiago Silva.
I played with Paul,
I'm telling you.
For a few years.
Scottish Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva, I love it.
At 37 years of age, you'd be expecting Paul to join me in a Zimmer frame, but honestly, he doesn't even look tired. Getting into the last 10 minutes of the game. Absolutely fantastic. And by the way, Paul's had a couple of setbacks with injury. And see at his age to be able to bounce back inconsistently. So just the performances that he does week in, week out, it's remarkable.
Hibs made a massive boo-boo, 3-4 years ago, allowing him to go.
But Dundee made a massive mistake letting him go. I played with Paul for, I think it was 18 months. And in fairness to Dundee, I think they were letting him go because Cammy Kerr was coming behind him, which was a young player, and he was doing great. But like Paul was very underrated, I thought. He went down south, came back up, And as you touched on, when Tibbs, he obviously played for Scotland, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's an outstanding footballer. But as Stephen's saying, Jens has managed to bring the best out of everyone and improve them. So, but Paul's very underrated, I think.
The trick will be trying to hold on to them, from the manager to the players.
Yeah.
I mean, look, every club in Scotland is a selling club. They have to be. But it's good times. There's somebody on the board there. You must think, right, Lennon Miller money. It's the training ground that's happening at Dale Park.
Yep,
That's fantastic, isn't
so
it?
we've got that now. Yeah, it's fantastic. I think everybody's asking about the manager and the players. And look, we as a club know that Jens is a top manager. We know with the position we're in as Motherwell Football Club. But as you ask me right now, the position that we're in right now as it stands, we are very much looking forward to next season with Jens Bertolaski in charge of Motherwell Football Club. Now, we know that we've seen it with Michael Wimmer. We know how quickly things can change. Nobody expected Michael to leave last summer, but as it stands, we're looking forward to next season with Jens in charge. And in terms of the players, I think it's a good problem to have. I think there's only, I think you say that Motherwell are a selling club. I think 99% of clubs in world football are a selling club.
Exactly, absolutely.
Celtic will sell to bigger clubs in England, bigger clubs in Europe. You're only maybe looking at Real Madrid, PSG, Man City, who can maybe have the pick of anybody that they want. Please keep your hands off Paul McGinn if any of you are listening.
You tell them.
But
Sovereign Wealth Fund.
We know that in the grand scheme of things, we're a selling club, but evaluations have to be met before discussions are even had.
So, but I did say they all are. Of course they are. Rangers, Celtic, and everybody. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. Can you stay with us?
I can stay with you, no problem.
08 17 17 700.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
This time tomorrow night we'll be here with Barry Ferguson, the former Rangers captain and manager, and all-round legend, and the journalistic legend that is Mark Guidi tomorrow night ahead of the football writers will be soon. It's that time of the year. Who's going to be the manager of the year? Who's going to be the player of the year? Stephen Reside has joined us from the Welsh Society, but he's here tonight to talk mainly about the SFU Disability Forum. Really important at Perth at McDermott Park. Well, this time next week it'll just be finished, won't it? It's all afternoon.
2 until 5:30 we're on.
That's great. And St Johnstone giving you facilities there?
Yep. St Johnstone are hosting it very kindly. We just thought that was a central location for everyone if we want to try and get as many people to come along. It's no fair to ask people away from the north to come all the way down to Glasgow. No. So if we can go up a wee bit and at least make it a wee bit easier. So
absolutely.
And I believe there's even someone from Elgin coming, so it just shows you that's working. Do you know what I mean? The fact that we're having it centrally. So no, really looking forward to it, and we want to host this annually. We want this to be a yearly thing. So let's get the ball rolling and let's get the conversations ongoing about how we can improve things.
You're liking the new studio here? Yeah,
well, absolutely loving
YouTube,
it.
Yeah, because I know you've been in all the other studios as well.
I hope I'm not breaking any TVs at home, but
oh, don't worry, I've done that many times. Listen, in this very studio this Sunday, the Go Radio Business Show with Barclays Hampden, it's not to be missed. Scotland's most influential business leaders will be here for a special edition of the show with Sir Tom Hunter and Lord Willie Hawkey. The programme will address the growing impact of Scotland's business rate system on hospitality, leisure and investment across the country, because it's causing so much damage. So the programme brings together a powerful panel. I'll tell you who's on it. Entrepreneurs, industry leaders. Kevin Martin, the MD of the ML Leisure Group in Glasgow. You'll know many of their places. Wunderbar and some other Kong as well.
What was his name again?
Yeah, Kevin Martin. Yep. We've also got Donald McLeod, MBE, Managing Director. Well, he's a legend, isn't he? Donny McLeod has been around for a long time. MD of Holdfast Entertainment Group. Stephen Montgomery, highly respected, the Scottish Hospitality Group. Michael Bergson, Managing Director and owner of Bucks Bar Group in Scotland. And John McGlynn, the founder of Scottish Capital. Go Radio Business Show, a special Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. It's also available on YouTube and all podcast platforms. I mean, when I go around the country, people say about the sense that the two of them talk, Tom and Willie. You know, they're not political at all. Willie's a Labour peer, but he'll work with anybody. And in Tom's case, apolitical, but just they both want what's best for Scotland. And the hospitality industry's having such a tough time. Football's part of the hospitality industry as well, isn't it? Yeah. It's the lifeblood of the country. We're looking forward to the games this weekend. Stephen's with us as well. Manager of the Year we spoke about earlier on. You have to take your manager out of it. Who would you give Manager of the Year to, Stephen?
It's got to be Derek McInnes, isn't it? It's got to be. It's got to be. I mean, I think that, and that's no disrespect to the other two, Gary Naismith and John McGuinn, but what he's done with Hearts, I mean, to be in with chance of winning title, 4 games to go. This isn't a fluke. Hearts have been there for the start of the season. They've been there right from the very beginning. And do you know what? I fancy them now. I really do. And I almost think that people within Scotland have become conditioned to think that it can't happen because they've not seen it.
I absolutely do agree with that. That's how my head works. Is you just go with logic and you think it's never happened. Well, it hasn't happened for such a long time. But I believe now definitely the Hearts players won't be thinking like that. I think early in the season I think it would have been far-fetched. Now they'll definitely be believing.
And obviously we've got 2 games coming up against Hearts and Celtic. We're looking to beat them both. I've heard people saying, Motherwell, we've basically got Europe sewn up now. That'll be them. We've still got a big game against Falkirk on Saturday, and Hibs are a good side. Let's not discredit.
So what's your run in then? So we know this weekend.
We've got Falkirk away, and then Hearts at home, Celtic at home.
So wait a minute, Hearts at home. Wow.
Yeah, Celtic at home as well, and then we finish it with an away trip to Hibernian. But I think for us, there's been a couple of gripes. I mentioned the cups. I think there might be a wee mini gripe that there's been inconsistencies against the teams in the top 6. There's been a few draws in there, but we've not managed to beat Hearts yet this season. Okay, we beat Celtic.
Poor against Falkirk in the last time you faced them. Which...
So this squad's got something to prove. This is not just about finishing 4th. If everybody's talking about you and talking about how good you are, the boys absolutely want to go and prove that.
What's your take on those results against the Celtic, the Rangers, the Hearts? You being there every week, what do you see that's different in those games? Because obviously I listened and I saw the highlights when he's lost to Hearts at Tynecastle a few weeks ago, 3-1. He's absolutely battered Hearts. It should have been 4-1 up. Is that, and obviously in that game, chances were missed. Is that the case in other games, or is there a theme to this? Because obviously the theme of Bert playing all these amazing football, but then obviously in bigger games, is it the same?
I think you take the Celtic games for example. I think there's been decisions went against us. You could argue the penalty against Hearts decision went against us, but of course when you're playing against the better teams, if you don't take your chances, they've got people in the other box that can punish you. So I just think that's what it's been. I think it's been. People said that Motherwell had a dip. I never ever bought into that at all, because I thought we went to Celtic Park in the 3-2 game, more than held their own. Celtic arguably could have been down to 10 men 5 minutes into that game. So if that goes for you, you're looking at a different game. Hearts away, as you mentioned, we'll get chances to kill the game off.
What about that Maswinisi move?
I was celebrating. I was with my wheelchair. In fact, I better not say that. I better not say that because I want to keep my pip. But I was nearly with my wheelchair.
He left the defender for dead. It was absolutely brilliant.
But it's just about timing and taking your chances, and they've got quality in the other end that can kill you. So
how good is Maswinisi, would you say?
Well, I think if you look at it in a Motherwell side that went on streaks of no winning a game in 15 or no winning a game in 12 in the last 2 seasons, he was still one of the players that was standing out. So you put him in a team that's playing football, that's getting the ball down, you're only going to get the best out of him. He can play wide, he can play through the middle, and I think that's a marker of all our front players this season, is that they're a nightmare to play against because they move all over the place. So how do you pick them up?
Elijah Just, how good is he? Obviously he's nominated for Player of the Year. Celtic interested, Rangers interested, but he said, look, I'm just concentrating on the rest of the season, which includes of course the World Cup for him.
Caviar. He's absolutely caviar. Honestly. Like he's brilliant. See in tight spaces, just the ability that he has to find a pass, the composure that he has on the ball, because that's something that I often think is missing within Scottish football. Scottish football's great until sometimes you get to the final third. And then there's that lack of composure, everything can become quite rushed. And we've just got players that take their time. You've seen it at the start of the season, the fans with it, cross the ball into the box, of Scottish mentality. But see, we just slow things down and try and find a pass. You'll get joy in that.
That's interesting, because I asked someone at Motherwell about this months ago. What was it like early in the season, especially pre-season and the early games where he doesn't have this reputation and he is trying to build a game and he is going back to the goalkeeper? And because invariably that's one thing I was really impressed with the crowd at Motherwell, was there was an understanding to what was been done. where we've all been at clubs where they wouldn't like that. They kind of, it's on the halfway line, next minute's back with your goalkeeper.
Well, I think there was fans arguing in the stand at Clyde in the first game at Hamilton, but I think the game that it turned was the Hertha Berlin friendly. The second half against a quality European side like Hertha Berlin, we played them off the park at times. And I think a lot in the League Cup campaign, we were playing against low blocks.
Yeah.
So it was frustrating. It was difficult to break down. But when you seen Rangers try and come and try and have a go, and you seen the success that you had against teams that maybe had a go against you, then you're like, this is going to work. This is going to work. But you know that there's going to be teething problems because you're trying to implement a new system. You're trying to get boys to play out for the back. But by the way, there's somebody that we've not mentioned. Callum Ward, third choice at the club last season. He's been pivotal to the way that we play. His distribution is second to none. He's set a clean sheet record for the club. But I think that's also a compliment to how good we are in our press because it starts with the front.
It's also how good you are in the ball.
Yeah.
You don't have to defend when you have the ball.
But it's the work rate as well.
No, absolutely.
Going back the way that allows us to get on the ball.
Yeah.
He was the best keeper. Why he was chosen for the SPFL Team of the Year, wasn't he?
Yeah. And it's great to see the confidence in him because he made a couple of mistakes early in the season, and it would be very easy for him to let his head drop. I mean, it's not as if he was coming into the season having been first choice in the last few years, so it'd be very easy for that to dent his confidence. But Jens is here and speaking in their interviews about killing anxiety, and just see as a player, see if you know that you can make a mistake, and you're not going to get berated for it.
I disagree with that. As a player, it's the crowd that causes that. If I'm a defender and I'm told to take the ball and a manager tells me, don't worry, I'll take the blame, that doesn't make a blind bit of difference to me. Trust me, it doesn't. Because if I've got 20,000 are ready to crucify me. So I think the support of Motherwell deserve an enormous credit to actually buying into it and going through teething problems, because most times you come through teething problems, especially in a culture of Scotland and the football that's played invariably. I think that's credit to the sport as well. I'm not taking it away from the manager.
No, but I think you're absolutely right to touch on that, and I think that was maybe a slight concern that would people buy into it, but that's why we were trying to get the message out. I think, look, there is going to be teething problems. This will happen, but I think when fans start to see it working, and you need moments in the season, and I'm going to go back. Livingston away. There was a point where we were 1-0 down and we were going 3 points off the bottom. Yeah. Wow. We score a goal. Cam Slattery comes back into the team, gets a goal, and then Elijah just scores in the last minute. That just let the blue touch paper, and we were off. Yeah. We were off at that point.
You had so many draws as well, maybe earlier on. But
that's maybe been a frustration, Paul, with the amount of draws that we've had. But
we've only got 4 minutes left.
Sorry.
You've taken over. I mean, what is this? Guys.
Love it.
It's great, Stephen.
Love it.
Right, are you going to win at Falkirk? What do you think?
I think we all Falkirk won, don't we? So I'm going to be confident. I think the performance that we've just come off the back of at Ibrox. Yeah. Why not? Let's go 2-1.
2-1. Guys, what do you reckon?
I just touched on it. I thought that's the worst Motherwell have been all season against Falkirk, so I think they'll win because I think they'll have a point to prove.
Kevin?
I think Falkirk's got the number.
Right. We talked about Dundee St Mirren earlier on. Is he taking the bait on that one? No. No. Kelly Dundee United we spoke about earlier on, both of you. Tomorrow night, Livy, Aberdeen. What do you reckon?
I've got Aberdeen.
Yeah.
I honestly think Marvel gets something.
Do you? Okay.
I think he's made the Livingston really difficult to beat. They've had numerous draws. Okay. And then last weekend, obviously, they had this, it's a shock, beating St Mirren, but I don't think they fear Livingston Aberdeen tomorrow night.
What about Sunday then? At the... Rangers, of course, Monday. Hibs Celtic, more and more noise around Robbie Keane. Is he going to be the next manager? There's stuff on today about that. There's nothing concrete, but we are hearing his name more and more. But they'll not be thinking about that this weekend. Hibs Celtic. Stephen, what do you reckon?
I think Celtic are all guns blazing for the title now, and I think Daiza Maeda looks back to his best. So I think Celtic are going to go over the line.
Kevin?
Celtic, yeah.
Celtic win?
Yeah, agreed.
Goals? I mean, are they going to start to... No.
Maybe by 2, but no more than 2.
I think it's irrelevant at this point. I think getting 3 points is the most important thing.
And then Monday, 5:30, we're going to have an extended programme on Monday night. Hearts against Rangers. Barry will be here along with Charlie, so we'll We'll get Barry's view on it as it happens. Because, if Rangers win, they're right back in it, as we said. What do you think?
I think there could be a draw. I do think there'll be a draw. My only reason I won't go draw, I'll put my neck in the line. I think Rangers will win. I think Rangers will win because they have to.
You sure? Okay. Yeah. Kevin, what do you feel?
I think I'm going to sit right on the fence and go for a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. Wow.
Hearts
were quite decisive there. So they would go on the 76. Celtic would be on 73. Obviously, Rangers would be 69. But if you reckon that Rangers might be, I think a lot of people feel that they have to. It's the last stand.
If it's a draw with 15 minutes to go, Hearts will think point not bad. Rangers go, we have to win. So that's kind of the logic.
Stephen, I'm hoping this time next week that you're buzzing the way you are tonight after the forum. Hope it goes really, really well. What do you want to come from it?
I just want everybody to start talking, to create a network between everybody that's working between disability and to create a platform to improve things. So let's hope we can start the conversations and next week goes well, which I'm sure it will. I've
said that to you before. The word disability, we've all got a certain ability and you've got massive ability.
Thank you.
Because you've not had it easy. But your mum's here today, your dad, the support network around you. You're a nightmare sometimes. Remember he came to the kilt walk a couple of years ago as well.
And my dad didn't thank me for that.
Honestly, he'd been out the night before. I wasn't happy. But you're brilliant. See his spirit. He came along to the kilt walk.
Brilliant.
You're fantastic.
You still made it at least.
You did, exactly. Yeah. Thanks very much for that. Tomorrow night, Barry will be here along with Mark. Thank you, everybody. And remember, if you want to catch up in any of it, it's wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much. Coming up next is Joe Day after the news. Tomorrow night, we'll be here at 5.